Welcome back. We're discussing current issues impacting our country, and we're going to shift gears now and talk about Ontario, which is now looking to build more nuclear power capability, which is interesting. I remember growing up in the 80s and 90s, and everybody was scared of nuclear, and now it seems to be friendly again. Elliot, why don't you start us off on this? What's going on in Ontario?
Yeah, I think, the Ontario government, like many governments around the world, is coming to grips with, an energy crisis that we are either in or about to enter, and is looking at ways to diversify energy to the province. That can be done in a lot of different ways, including some of the greener ways, whether that's solar or wind. But nuclear, as you just pointed out, is another option to consider. And it seems as though the Ontario government is looking to take some steps in that direction. And I think it's a good idea. I think in order to solve this challenge that we ultimately will all have to face, it's not a single route down to end it. We need an array of tools, an array of sources. Nuclear is obviously can be dangerous. We've seen some international incidents over the last number of years and decades where it's gone badly. But I think Ontario has a pretty good track record when it comes to safety. And I think it's a good idea that the government is looking at expanding the nuclear power in the province as we, all come to grips with some of the challenges, the energy challenges that we will face.
Right, as we, rapidly increase population, immigration, we're building more homes. This new expansion is set to be able to power 4.8 million homes. I'll throw this in, if only we could build that many, because we have huge building issues here in Ontario. We're not building enough to accommodate so many of our new Canadians who are joining us. Again, Brock, I'm all for diversification of energy avenues. It makes sense. Why put all your eggs in one basket? But why nuclear? Again, I don't remember this being, like, it seems out of nowhere, nuclear energy has just come back and it's like this new player on the scene. Is this the best route to go with?
For Ontario, I think it's the route they've chosen, and it's not like they have the hydro of Northern Quebec or British Columbia with the similar options in place. So I think it's Ontario's best approach for a large-scale system. 4.8 million homes is a lot of homes to power. I think they can sell that to the Northeast United States as well. Their grid is very fragile and is under great pressure as people are at home more, using their air conditioners more during the 9 to 5 hours. And I don't think the system is capable of handling the new demand where people have computers running 24/7 that require cooling. And I think that this is just more and more that demand will continue to increase, and 4.8 million homes sounds like a lot, but it won't be very quickly. And I think you're going to need small substations with alternative forms of energy in cities. You've got lots of options out there, and this is Ontario's sign that they're trying to do anything to fix this part of the problem.
Well, let's shift gears now out west, where energy is obviously always a perennial topic, but this time we're discussing the BC port workers strike. So Alberta has already raised concerns over their issues of getting their product out. There's concerns about supply chain. Elliot, why don't you start us off? What are the main issues? Why are these workers striking?
Well, it's a familiar story, and I think it's a microcosm of some broader issues in society and the economy. The workers out there, and Brock can probably speak to this a little bit better than I can, being sort of much closer geographically to it. But the issues are the same as I think we've seen in other strikes, which is better pay, probably the use of technology replacing workers. And these are post-COVID issues that I think we've seen in a lot of different ways. And it's important, I think, for this process to play itself out. The federal government is resisting recalling Parliament to put these workers back to work with legislation. And we will see where these negotiations go. But it's a bit of, as I said, a microcosm of some of the broader trends and issues that businesses are facing nowadays, particularly ones that rely on unionized workers. Who are fighting for their rights in a world that is becoming more and more dominated by technology.
Brock, we only have 30 seconds before commercial, and we can pick it up after again. But do you feel that the workers' concerns are being heard, and how are locals the local economy, and how is it adapting to this strike?
It's not just the local economy. The supply chain goes across the prairies. It goes both directions, in from Asia, outbound from the prairies. And I think that it is impacting the local economy. I walked past the area last week. There's a lot less truck traffic at the port. It's hurting the port. It's hurting the workers.
We're going to pick this up in just a moment.